Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Hope you all are doing good. So in today's video, we are going to discuss how I cleared the Make My Trip interview and what are the questions they asked. I cleared the Make My Trip interview as a QA lead engineer, and I almost possess 7.5 years of experience totally in the automation testing. Okay, so I'm gonna brief you about my experience. What are the interview questions they asked as an SDAT? Okay, so the round they have is like they have three rounds. More specifically, like the round one and round two are to be taken up by the technical person, and these would be the technical rounds you can expect. So the first round would be taken by like the person who has almost like 5 to 6 years of experience. So this would be a complete technical round. Second round could be taken up by the principal engineer, which have a designation as a manager in the Make My Trip. Okay, and the third round would be taken by, it would be a behavioral come, like they can ask some sort of questions related to some practical life scenarios. How would you do the testing in production? So these kind of questions they would ask, and it would be taken up by the associate technical manager in a company. Okay, so let's come to the round one. So what are the questions they asked? First question was, tell me about yourself, and you need to explain the project. So basically keep it brief. What are the, how many years of experience you have, what are the kinds of testing you did in your current experience or in the past experience, you can tell that. And what are the project you are currently working on. Please keep it simple and brief. And what are the skills you worked on, like such you worked on Git, you worked on Maven, CI/CD, Jenkins, you can all name the tools name, and also the testing framework that you use. So just keep it simple, answer it in 1 minute or so. You can just give out all the answers. Okay, so the second questions they asked, like there were two Java programming questions they asked. First one would be, you can expect it to be array question. So it would be like, for me it was just to sort an 0 and 1's array. So you need to sort this array. So basic approach to follow this to have two pointers. First one would point at the 0th location, the last one would point at array dot length -1 position, and then you need to increment the counters. Like first one would be the counter at this position, you need to increment it here. The counter would be here, you need to decrement it here. So the logic is this one, and if you observe 0 at this position, so you observe 0 here, so you need to just move to the next location. Okay, to the next pointer. Okay, if you observe 1 here, that's fine. Okay, you need to observe, you need to decrement the counter and move it to this position, and you need to swap the variables. Basically this is the concept they have. And if you want me to make a video on this one, so please drop me a comment and tell me in the comments, like if you want to make a video on this one, and I'll explain you the concept. Okay, second question is reverse the string. This question has been asked in the Microsoft as well, and I've intentionally chooses this string, like, share and subscribe, such that you subscribe to my channel and don't miss any of the contents, because I publish most of the technical contents and which are related to programming, software testing, and there's any more much concern which I'm concerned about, so I publish those content. So this would be like, you need to reverse the string character such that like you do not mess up with this space what we have. So as you can see, EBIR would be replaced with this like. Okay, and share also, it would come like, this is a 5 characters, this one, so this would come in this place. So the logic there here is, you don't have to mess up with this space, you need to keep it intact, whatever the characters you want to swap. So if you also want to see the video on this one, so please drop me a comment in the video, so I'll make a video on this one as well. And also they can expect you to write an XPath to find the prices of airline on the Make My Trip website only. So if you go here, you can expect such that like there is a Indigo airline, you need to find the XPath of this one. There are two Indigo airlines and you need to find the prices of this one. So you need to just go to this and find the dynamic XPath, and then you can just find the XPath of these prices basically. Okay, so this was the round one. basically they could expect these kind of questions to you, and I have cleared this round. Okay, so now let's come to the round 2. What are the questions they asked in the round 2? So the first question was, write a Java program to print the occurrences of a character in a string. So this was the string being given, do you love coding, and you need to print the characters of each. Like you need to print the frequency of each character, how many times the character has occurred. Okay, so the D you see here, so D is occurred 2 times, O has occurred 3 times, O has occurred 3 times. Okay, and the other characters has occurred the 1 time. Okay, so basically you need to print the occurrences of these characters. So there was a modification in this Java program. Once I did that, so they told me to update like what is the maximum time a character has appeared. So O is the one which has the highest frequency. If you see, it has appeared 3 times. Okay, so you need to print the O, just O you need to print, because it has the highest frequency, and you need to print the character which has occurred the highest number of times. Okay, so to basically solve these questions, you need to initialize an hash map, and you need to just iterate the hash map, and then you need to use the contains key method, and basically you need to use the hash map put method, and then there's a logic to compare, like if the character is coming for the first time, you initialize its count with 1. If it's coming more than first time it has occurred previously, so you need to keep incrementing its counter. Okay, so this is the logic behind the counting the frequency of a character in a hash map. Okay, so this was the pretty simple question. And the second one also is to remove the special characters from a string. So this was my string being given. Okay, and I need to remove this alphanumeric characters or the special characters that you see. So I was needed to remove these characters, and I needed to print this one. So in this case you can directly use a regex, and regex has these methods. You can check D is there, or directly you can use this one, which is you want to keep these characters only, and you don't want to see any other characters than this, and you need to use the replace all method in this one to eliminate the alphanumeric characters basically. Okay, and the third question is like write the test cases on MakeMyTrip web app. So they may expect you to write and tell some of the test cases on the MakeMyTrip app itself only. So if you see some of the popular filters, you can see on the app itself only. So you can tell you need to do some try and catch kind of thing you need to do, and you need to say like the one way price is being 5231 and 28,400. What if there are flights which could show the price is more than 28,000, the flights which show the price less than 5231, so there could be flights as well, right? So on what of the non-stop flight you have, how many flights does it have which are non-stop, or what are the flights it have which are partially cancelable, or the fully cancelable flights. So you need to just go to the website and try to see what are the use cases you can find. So those could be your test cases, right? And what are the flights that operates from morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening. Sorry, what is the departure time of the flights? Is it starting before 6 a.m. to 12 p.m.? So these are the things you can search for. Okay, so these are test cases basically you can tell for. And apart from that, they ask the question about the internal implementation of hash map. So how you can implement a hash map. So in this case, you need to just tell how the hashing works in a hash map, and the bucket scenario, how the same characters, like if you are implementing a hash map which has the same character and the value is different, so how these are going to be mapped. So you just need to use the hashing concept, the bucket concept, that is having equals method you need to use in hash map. So all these concept you need to use and tell to the interviewer basically how you do the index calculation in a hash map. So basically there is a criteria how you can calculate the index in a hash map. So these all criterias you need to use. So now let's come to the round 3. In the round 3, the interview would ask you, so it would be taken by the associate director in a company. So he is having almost around 15 to 16 years of experience only in the testing. So they would expect you to ask some like practical scenarios, like if you have given payment system, right? So if you have some, suppose like an app as Paytm, so and if you want to transfer your money, so the money is deducted or not. If it is not deducted, what kind of error you would get, and basically what will happen if the money is deducted from your account and it is not transferred to the another person's account, and what could be the use case if it is not transferred, why it is not transferred. Okay, so these kind of questions they would ask you, like some real time questions they would ask you, depending on the integration testing. Okay, so they asked me a question, like there was some scenario they asked me, so like if the MakeMyTrip website you are trying to hit and it is not available, so what could be the reasons this is not available. Okay, so you have to tell like maybe there are more number of users on the website. In that case the website has crashed, so it was showing 503 error, service unavailable. Okay, so this could be their error also. The overloading, like the load balancing has not been done correctly. In that case also I'm getting this error. Or there could be issues, whatever the request I'm trying to hit, the API endpoint trying to hit, this could be the error with this one. The error could be on the client side as well. So these kind of scenarios you have to think and you have to tell basically. Okay, they would ask you some questions related to microservices. Have you implemented microservices in your current project? So you need to tell them, yes, I have implemented. And you have to tell them how the Docker works, how the pipeline is working in your organization, how you are pushing the code to the production, what are the phases involved. So basically they just want to know that in that case. And have you tested an application in a production? Okay, so if you have tested an application in production, you would ensure, like, so suppose you have a submit button and it's working fine in the QA environment, but it's failing in the production environment. Okay, so what could be the reason it's failing in the production environment? First reason could be there are more number of users who are hitting the production, who are hitting the submit button on the production server. This could be the one reason. So how do you make sure? So in that case you have to employ a monitoring solution. In that case you need to use a Grafana. So Grafana you need to use, it's basically gives you a dashboard where you can expect some memory usage, what are the memory usage your application might have, what are the resources utilizing, and what are the resources, like what are the HTTP requests coming through and going out. So you need to view all these details. Also you can use Adobe Analytic tags you can use. Okay, so in that case you can make sure how many times the user has clicked on submit button, how many times the user has clicked on login button. So basically you need to get all these informations. You can also use, if the submit button is failing, so you can use logs to view that. In the logs you can use the Splunk tool to use that. You can also use Kibana. Okay, so these are the kind of answers you need to give. It would be basically a practical kind of round you can expect. They can also ask you what is CDN. They asked me what is CDN, so I answered like it's a content delivery network, where it's like if the user is trying to access a resource, so I'm trying to access a MakeMyTrip website, right? So in that case the MakeMyTrip websites should be closer to my location, such that I should be able to render the application in a less amount of time. It should not be located to the origin server. It should be located close to my location. The server should be present close to my location, so it should be replicated close to my location, such that it should take less time to render an application. Okay, so this is content delivery network. Kafka also they might expect what is producer and consumer testing, how you do achieve the Kafka testing. So they can ask these questions. Couchbase also they can ask, is a NoSQL database they can ask, and what is the functionality of Couchbase in a testing. So these are the questions they have asked me literally, and I was kindly prepared. I prepared for 1 or 2 weeks for this round itself only. So this was the toughest round I felt, because there were more of technical questions they asked, and fortunately I was able to clear this round, and yeah, I got selected. Yeah, thank you. So that was it for this make my dream interview questions. And if you like the video, please click the like button, share with your friends, and also subscribe to my channel for more such technical content.